I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. Let's get started.
Let's go.
We have 3 stories this week, and the names of those stories are Too Hot to Handle, Family Reunion, and Cinderella Story. The original air date for this was Saturday, January 7th, 1978, 9 p.m. ABC.
January 7th, 1978.
Yeah, good times. Probably chill in the air, you know. It was like a nice fireplace.
A week after New Year's.
And here's our IMDb description. The stories include a reprobate Stewart, played by, I won't give his name yet, we'll talk after about, a reprobate Stewart, cute honeymooners, and a financially strapped supermarket cashier posing as a wealthy advertising executive. So that's really quick and brief description from IMDb this week. Our guest stars this week, I have Kathy Bates was our first guest star this week. Famous for, what would you say?
Well, I guess Misery is the thing.
That's the first thing that pops in my head.
And that was 10 years after this, at least 10 years after this, maybe even more than that.
I'd say Fried Green Tomatoes.
That was
no one else.
I never saw that, but I mean, that's one that you'd think of about her.
Wouldn't even know she was in that.
I saw on her IMDb, I never saw this movie, but she was actually in the movie Titanic.
Oh, that's right. She was the unsinkable Molly Brown or whoever that character is. And she was in the original The Stand, the ABC miniseries. She was like a
original
radio
one, right?
the one with the Gary Sinise version.
Yeah.
She was the disc jockey in that like is the one that's dispensing the actual information that the government's hiding.
Spoiler alert.
That's old.
I know.
The book's like 40 years old. The movie's like 30.
And Kathy's playing Sally Allison in this episode.
Newlywed Sally.
She's
Allison,
a newlywed Sally Allison, and she's actually she'll be in her wedding dress in just a few minutes when we get the episode rolling here. Our next special guest star this week was Dory Brenner. She's playing Wendy Bradley. I did not know her from anything. And that's
and do we know her from? Was she in anything?
I didn't see anything familiar that she was in. And I'm sorry, Kathy Bates is only in one episode of The Love Boat.
Thank you. We need to categorize that.
Dory Brenner is also only in one episode of.
Brian needs to say something. He's
I
think
that's the only thing she was ever in.
The Dory Brenner.
Yeah, one episode of The Love Boat. Huh?
Yeah, someone from this episode. It was like, and I think it was her. She was the wife of the guy that advertising.
She doesn't have a picture here. Her filmography has 56 things, so maybe it's not her then.
Yeah, maybe it's not her.
Maybe it's the other lady, Ginger Ledoux. That
is Ginger Ledoux the daughter character?
Ginger Ledoux is
we're getting ahead of ourselves by saying this, but
she's the guest that gets kicked off the boat.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
She was in 95 things.
Huh.
And
Brian's got faulty information.
She was in Kentucky.
I might be
Kentucky
thinking
Fried
about
Movie
another
was
show.
Was one of her credits.
Wait, what are you doing? You're doing something?
No, I was scratching my eye.
I thought you were giving me a signal. I was like, what's that mean?
Kentucky Fried Movie was one of her.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Wow, Kentucky Fried. Well, that was right around this time. Kentucky Fried Movie was probably like 77 or something like that. Yeah.
70, yeah.
It's before Airplane.
Right before, yep. Our next special guest is Bob Crane. He's playing Edward Teddy Anderson.
Hogan!
He was in all 186 episodes of Hogan's Heroes. And something I saw on IMDb, he played the drums in the theme song for Hogan's Heroes. That was him on the soundtrack. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. Okay, I got it.
So that was him playing the drums. And
can you edit in the theme song to Hogan's Heroes? Do do do.
Are we allowed to do that one, or is that like that would be
idea.
against our
copyright infringement?
We can do it until someone yells at us, I guess.
Yeah, if they once they tell us to stop,
no one's listening to this.
Right?
It won't matter.
We're not going to keep doing it if we get a cease and desist.
Exactly.
We'll stop. Right?
This will be like one episode. We can't do the Love Boat theme because would have to be in.
But we're in talks with Paul Williams and Jack Jones right now to see if we can work something out. He said, "Why are there so many songs about rainbows?"
He said, "Listen, if you make $1 off this, they want 50 cents. So I don't know if it's worth it."
But how cool would it be if we made $1 and we had to give 50 cents to Paul Williams? That'd be so
cool.
Can I
write the check out to him? Like the jerk, $1.75. Paul Williams. Bob Kane. Bob
yeah.
Crane. Bob Kane created Batman. Sorry. Bob Crane died soon after this. Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that the cause of death. This is a quick paragraph I have here. The cause of death was bludgeoning with a blunt instrument, which police suspected was a video camera tripod. However, since the murder weapon was never found, this could not be proved. A video cable was wrapped around his neck post-mortem. And that's Bob Crane.
Bob Crane had a very active social life during and after Hogan's Heroes, and judging by his Wikipedia page, it encompassed most of his life because it went on and on and on.
He was hurting for money in the mid to late 70s. He had run out of money.
Well, obviously he was doing the Love
he had a
Boat.
lot of gambling problems and a lot of other problems that you were talking about. He was hanging around with a lot of like underground seedy characters and stuff like that. But there's some movies and everything about him. But
yes, there's a lot of documentaries, and I guess they never found the guy that killed him.
No, and
although I think the guy that he was hanging around with a long time, there was a guy that was involved with him during all his sex acts, and I think he was the guy that got blamed.
And I think
originally,
he was married up until his death. So yeah,
but not after.
Well, I mean, it's not like he was doing these things without a wife, is what I mean.
So he was cheating on his wife while he was doing all these awful things.
Bob Crane, Hogan's Heroes. Well, I never really watched it that much. I mean,
I watched it here and there. It was a little before my time.
Richard Dawson being on there was pretty cool, but I watched some episodes, but never was a big.
Making fun of the Nazis is always fun.
It's one of those shows it was always on MeTV. That's one of the shows that they rotate shows out, but that show always seems to be on MeTV.
Interesting.
Our next special guest this week is Rosemary Decamp, and she's playing Cynthia Loudon. The only thing I saw that she's in Saturday the 14th, which is a classic comedy with Richard Benjamin's in that. That's really, really funny.
Saw that in the theater.
That's great. 1981 that came out.
Yeah, I was 11 years old. Sounds about right.
Our next guest after that was Dan DeFore playing Everett Loudon. That's going to be Cynthia's husband. I did not see anything that he was in.
This couple, are they the advertising couple?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They were both in one episode of The Love Boat.
And he did nothing else besides this?
He did some stuff, but it's nothing that, after that, Robert Hayes, this is 2 years prior to his run in two classic movies, Airplane 2, the sequel, which is basically Airplane, but like some maybe a new joke here and there.
Not really.
And a time bomb joke,
if I remember correctly about Airplane 2, isn't the theme to The Love Boat sung in that as he's escaping from the asylum? The guy,
so
the actual singer of The Love Boat singing.
I believe that's Jack Jones.
Yeah, he's singing The Love Boat as Stryker's escaping from the prison. He kind of gets caught in the spotlight.
That's so great.
I just thought about that right now.
About it, but then
I didn't think about it till just now.
It's so good.
That's Kismet or Karma or something.
It's Kramer.
It might be Kramer.
So yeah, Airplane, and he was only in one episode as well.
Was he in anything else besides Airplane? I feel like he was in something.
He did a lot of
else.
like sitcom stuff, and he's also he's been in some episodes of the Goldbergs recently.
I've seen them. I mean, I've seen the Goldbergs. I don't remember seeing him in that.
Another ABC show. ABC sponsor.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I saw him in something else, but
I'm sure we have. I mean, but I was just like, we'll talk about Airplane.
Oh, well, that's all that matters in his life.
This is also our third cast member from Airplane, I want to say.
Is it?
Jimmy Walker. Oh, and we had Peter Graves.
Did we have Leslie Nielsen yet?
So 4, Leslie Nielsen too.
Have we had Leslie Nielsen already? I feel like we've talked about him recently.
He made it. Leslie Nielsen.
He cheated on his wife.
Oh, right. Yes.
And she allowed it. And then they got back together.
She said, I'll allow it.
And it was her fault.
She said,
because
my fault because she didn't give attention.
The Dear Abby?
Yeah, it was Ava Gabor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't that great when the episode goes back to you?
It's something. Oh, my God. I saw that weeks ago. How am I supposed to remember that?
Okay, our next guest is John Rubenstein, and he's playing George Allison. That's going to be Kathy Bates, her husband, her new husband, and he's in 4 episodes as 3 different characters. spread out over season 1, which we're in now, season 2, and season 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They brought him back. There's like, you know what we're missing? What's his name? Rubenstein?
Yeah.
Rubenstein?
Rubenstein.
They're missing him.
Were you doing a Young Frankenstein humor?
I wasn't.
Rubenstein?
I don't know. It could be pronounced one of those two ways.
Then we have Bruce Solomon. He's playing Bill Edwards, and he's one of the fake advertisers.
There's a lot of people in this cast. I don't remember the cast ever being this big.
I have him. The only thing I saw that I knew him in was he played Andrea's dad on 90210.
Oh, wow.
Andrea
Zuckerman.
Dad, yeah. And he was only Zuckerman, yep.
Zuckerman. Okay.
He's only in one episode.
Andrea Zuckerman, who was like 37 when she was playing that high school student on Beverly Hills.
Like, I mean, it was bad enough you had everybody else was in their 20s, but then you had her.
I'm getting my Social Security when I graduate. Nice.
They're like, are they liver spots on your hands?
Hanging out the old peach pit. I have no follow-up to that. Just wanted to say the peach pit.
Yeah, the peach pit's fun. And then Peach Pit After Dark. Remember when they had the nightclub?
I don't remember that. I really don't.
And then we have David White.
Wow, this cast keeps going on and on and on.
And he's playing Greg Beatty. He was in 191 of the 254 episodes of Bewitched.
Oh, he's Darren's boss.
And he also was he played George Granville in Brewster's Millions.
Yes, he was one of the lawyers. He certainly was. I remember when I saw Brewster's Millions, I remember even saying like, "Hey, that's Bewitched's boss." Yeah.
And he was in two episodes of the original Twilight Zone. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
But couple of things I saw while I was scrolling through.
Wow, that's so good that you brought up Brewster's Millions. I forgot.
I think this is the second time I've brought up Brewster's Millions.
It's still a great movie, even if you said it before. If you bring it up like weeks from now, I'll probably say how great that movie is.
If I see anybody that's in Brewster's Millions, I have to.
Please bring it up.
Yeah.
Wow. It was the scummy lawyer's girlfriend or whatever that ended up with Brewster.
Well, no, it was.
And the episode, wasn't it the limo driver?
Wait, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Love Boat or are we talking about Brewster's Millions? I'm lost.
I'm talking about what the character was. What the character was on the Love Boat. I think he's talking about.
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, he was he
was the jerk that had who was the singer? Diane Carroll, right?
Wait a minute. What
was it? Diane Carroll?
I am so lost here. I'm totally lost. What happened here?
You mean the
Amazing Larry?
That's the Amazing Larry guy.
No, it was, remember when they had that singer? She showed up in the limo.
Diane Carroll.
That's Diane Carroll, yeah. But she had like some limo driver, and he was like, that was the guy.
Oh, the limo driver.
He was the other lawyer?
He was somebody from Brewster's Millions, I think.
Was he?
I think.
Oh,
I don't know. I might be wrong.
I'm wrong about everything, so.
I'm so confused as to what we're even talking about. Brian, what were you saying?
I thought it was the girl that ended up with Brewster at the end. She was like one of the lawyers.
Punky Brewster?
She was originally dating
she was dating, what's his face? The pedophile, Seventh Heaven guy.
Oh, yeah.
I forget his name.
I
want to say John Tesh, but I know it's not John Tesh. He looks like John Tesh.
All right. What's his name?
But yeah, she worked for this guy.
Stephen Collins.
Stephen Collins, yes. Yeah.
That's the pedophile. John Tesh, we respect you, and we'd love
to
have you
I have no problem with
podcast.
John Tesh, but he looked like, I remember even when I was young and I saw Brewster's Millions, I was like, how'd they get John Tesh in this movie? And it was not him. And I never saw an episode.
Wasn't John Tesh, he always was like the punchline for jokes for a while?
Because he was like a musician also.
Anybody was like the Muzak version.
Yeah, so they made fun of him because he played did he play saxophone or something like that?
I was just going to say piano, but you might be right. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure I never heard,
I think piano.
I don't even know what he did besides that.
Was
he on like Entertainment Tonight?
I was just going to say,
like
didn't he do one of those? Because then wasn't, who was it? It was John Tesh and whoever the lady was, because Kramer had remember Kramer was having a stroke or something when he heard her voice in that one episode?
Is that Mary Hart?
It might be Mary Hart. I think you're.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Entertainment Tonight or Seventh Heaven. I love when the credits to this show get us so off track. We haven't even started the episode, and we are so in the weeds.
Well, ready? Want me to hit start on the episode? Because that's our special guest. Real quick, I didn't get any Titanic jokes. We did get a sinking joke.
I don't even remember the sinking joke.
Sinking joke was like, if he sinks, we sink with him. And Julie said that to Gopher, and Gopher says, "Don't say that on a boat."
Oh, I don't remember.
Or on a ship, whatever he said.
That's like you don't say bomb on a plane.
And a butt. So no Titanic jokes. There was no elevator scene this week either, so that was kind of sad. I checked out.
Were there any mentions of what room people were in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have
I'm
a couple of those,
I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Because if they're on the promenade deck, I'll be upset.
There's one that comes into really great play because, we'll get to it later.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know why. Yeah. Sure.
And there's our Lauren Tews.
Oh.
Here's our opening scene, ladies and gent.
The Pacific Princess. Cinderella Story. Wait, what's the Cinderella Story one? Cinderella Story? Is that the
Cinderella Story is the
advertising one?
Yeah, the room, because they get the room.
Yeah, okay.
That's their slipper.
Yeah, I don't like that name.
Well,
of course, you can't say Cinderella Story without thinking of Bill Murray and Caddyshack going Cinderella Story.
So our opening scene here, we get Ted Stryker with his wife, and Ted Stryker is taking pictures with his brand new Polaroid.
Oh, and he's please stay still and let me take a picture. And his wife is who? Is she
that's
anybody?
Mary. She's playing. That's Dory Brenner. We didn't. Wendy.
She's nobody?
She's playing Wendy Bradley in this.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know. And then we had a candid camera joke came in here with all the camera play with Robert Hayes, and at the same time we're going to see Bob Crane and Ginger Ledoux. Ginger Ledoux here. He's saying goodbye to her. She wants to get on the ship with him.
And, I mean, no one can get on the ship. The security is so tight. You can never get on and off a boat without someone knowing.
Especially this boat.
And you certainly couldn't get on the wrong ship. So, obviously it's she can't possibly get on.
Julie comes over and she starts to talk to Bob Crane, and and he says, "Are you pulling rank on me?" Because she's telling him.
So we don't know at this point. Now we know that he actually works on this boat. Although we've never seen him before, but now all of a sudden he is on the boat.
Julie says she's not pulling
steward.
rank, but if someone was going to pull rank, the captain said he will do it, and gets in Bob's face here.
I don't know if
Julie then sticks up for him though and says he's a good egg, not in those exact words, and then he walks Miss Ledoux off.
How many crew members now is this that we've interacted with besides our main 5? Is this like...
That's a good question, because I'm sure we're going to get a lot of those. We had like
the one-off
Chef Borga we had,
and we had the woman that was that hooked up with Meryl Stubing Sr. She was the chef
cook. Well, I think she was a sous chef.
Sous chef.
She sells seashells or something along those lines. And I thought it was weird here. She was like excited. She wants to take pictures of the reprobate, they called him.
Who wanted to? The wife there?
Well, they said they want to take pictures of the reprobate, and because Julie thought they wanted to take pictures of the captain or something, but it was, I don't know. I thought that was weird. Pictures, and she's like, cabin steward? He's just a cabin steward.
And so now we have the newlyweds come on board, and they're still dressed in their wedding outfit. He's got his top
she said
hat,
something along the lines of the priest was late or something like that.
The priest was late. And that's Kathy Bates. And this is a very young Kathy Bates. I mean, I honestly, my first knowledge of Kathy Bates was Misery, as we talked about. And that's 10-ish years from now. So, or maybe more than that.
I want to say Misery was like 90.
I was going to say 90. So it's 12 years from now. So she's 12 years older than that.
This is real. Gopher picks up a girl here and just walks her in and just leaves his post. He just leaves his post and walks away with that girl. And then we get Andrea Zuckerman's dad here from 90210. So here we have Bill and Doreen actually is their name in the episode.
Doreen is the one that she has one actress credit.
Oh, that's the girl here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say, just from
she was pretty.
Love Boat.
That's why I looked her up, because when she was in her bikini, I was like, oh, what else she been in?
As far as a Love Boat casting decision and for a story, having 2 young couples on this at the same time, bad idea. I was having trouble the whole episode keep it, because none of these people are famous except Kathy Bates. She's the only one that's famous. But
then the next biggest fame was what Robert Hayes out of that couple.
Why do I care about this couple? Who are they now? So you're really keeping track of 2 young couples that are kind of
I could see how it could be.
I thought it was bad. This is the one you needed like an Uncle Milty old man playing jokes things so as to not confuse simple people like me. I need help with these convoluted Love Boat stories.
I paused it real quick because that in that scene when the captain's talking to Kathy Bates and her husband, we find out that the cruise is 7 days. So this is a 7-day cruise. And then the captain says, "Hope we'll be seeing you a lot." And then the husband goes, "I hope you don't." Wink, wink.
I think it's.
He hit the button. He hit the button, but he didn't have it on.
What happened? I don't even know what happened. Did you mute us? I don't even know what happened.
He went
wrong button.
He went to hit the button, but he didn't turn that mic on.
What the fuck is happening? All sorts of noises.
Such good time. Such good time.
And we were just patting him on the back about what a great producer he was before we started this podcast. I'm taking your producer of the year credits away from you. I'm taking them all away.
I don't deserve
I'm
them.
cutting your pay in half too.
So here we get Julie, Doc, and Gopher talking about the Stockwoods have canceled their cruise. So that means the Promenade Suite is going to be available.
The Promenade Suite.
It's going to be available, yep. And then as Bill and Doreen here are checking in, guess what? We find out they're staying in the Aloha Deck Cabin 101.
Oh, I know it.
Also known as...
the Boom Boom Room?
That is correct.
Nice.
And why is it called the Boom Boom Room?
Not for any sexy reason. It's underneath the engine or something
First
like that.
they thought
or
it was like
above the
sleeping
engine.
in the bar. That's what they were thinking. Like, okay. So they thought it was going to be like the music or whatever. But they said it's a rather small cabin and it's right above the engine. Nice. And then Doc suggests, why don't you give them the Promenade Suite? And they're all like, can we? Should we?
The room's empty. There shouldn't even be... This should not be a plot point because if there's an empty seat in first class on a plane, they'll move someone up there. If there's an empty room in a hotel, they'll give you the upgrade for free. Just
or if that room
empty.
is so great, maybe Julie wanted the 7 days. I'm going to take it.
She's like, Doc, what are you doing this week? You got anybody? Let's hit the Promenade Suite. But this should just be a comp kind of upgrade because no one's in there.
And it shouldn't have been a problem telling Steubing. Like
they're making this all nefarious, and it shouldn't be. It should just be like the room was empty. It was going to go empty anyway. We gave it to someone that
we felt that this was a nice upgrade to this couple here.
This is
they're
like at a football game where they
move
move people from the bleachers down to like the good seats. It's just that. It's just moving someone to an upgrade, and it shouldn't be a plot point. But in 1978, it was. So this woman here.
Only one acting credit.
Yeah, she's cute. She should have made it in Hollywood, but I guess not. Did she die?
I didn't see if she
months
was alive
after this episode. Maybe that's why
she fell overboard.
I think she's still alive.
Oh, good for her.
That's good. Yeah,
but she should.
She probably just like it's not for me.
She's like, if I have to get,
or maybe this Bill character, maybe he was like, maybe Doc Bricker exposed himself or something.
She was being groomed.
And here's our Bon Voyage scene.
Bon Voyage.
Here we see Ted Stryker. He's taking pictures with his wife, and we'll see Bill and Doreen.
He's taking pictures of the people on. He's taking pictures of the land part. He's not taking pictures of the people throwing the confetti. He's taking pictures of land.
That's what I told you the other day when they were.
And is there anything more annoying than the guy with the camera all the time? Oh, God damn!
The camera he has too is so obnoxious. It's a Polaroid camera.
Back then, what are you going to do? But still, just the. It's fun to take pictures here and there. It's not fun to be that guy where it's just everybody get together, taking another picture. Because who goes back and looks at pictures? Even in this day and age of every picture being posted online. At him. But you don't really go back and you take one or two of a special moment. You don't take 1,000 pictures.
Here, I was a little upset because I know you guys watched this episode last week, and I was unable to record last week. But here we get Kathy and her husband in the cabin, and he throws her on the bed, and he throws his back out.
Oh,
I thought you guys would have mentioned that to me.
Oh, yeah, because everybody's been missing this podcast because of their bad backs. This is the gimpiest podcast, man. I swear to God,
walking up the steps at the end of the podcast.
At any time, anybody can just be like, "I'm out. I can't even get out of bed."
And we're all like, "I know where you're coming from."
We need a chiropractor to sponsor this show. That's what we need.
So here, after he throws his back out, he says, "Don't touch me." He has a muscle spasm.
And listen, let's.
It's an old ski injury.
I was going to say, let's address the elephant in the room. Kathy Bates is not the Kathy Bates of Misery in this episode. She's young and thin in this, and it should not have warranted having his back thrown out for picking her up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then
Misery Kathy Bates, sure. About Schmidt Kathy Bates, definitely. But this Kathy Bates, no.
He said this is an old ski injury, and that his doctor, not Doc Bricker here, but his doctor told him to sleep on a board for a couple of days and scream into my pillow. That's the
cure, huh?
That's the cure.
Now it would be like, here's a prescription for some Oxycontin. Sleep on whatever you want. You won't even feel a thing. and take it with a couple beers.
And Doc Bricker is pretty quick with the medicine on this boat, I've noticed.
I wonder if nowadays a boat like this would carry drugs of that nature, like Oxy and stuff like that. Because that's you could do some damage with those. I mean, I know you know, but
cut that.
Cut that. So I just wonder what Doc can really give out. My mom was a nurse in a school for forever, and she couldn't even give out aspirins unless you brought the medicine in that day that your kid needed to take to live. She couldn't give out anything.
Yeah.
Now
she was just
the school system's different. She was just there to
administer, like if you hurt yourself or you come in throwing up.
Or I mean, there were kids that were like diabetic and needed to take their shots. They would go to the nurse's office and do it or whatever. But it was really just it's a holding station until they could get home and have their parents do whatever. But
we're not touching them. Like we're hands off. That would be the safest thing nowadays.
I'm sure nowadays that's what it is. Oh, you got a little bit of COVID? Oh, you got to get out of here.
To like shut the school down.
But can Doc hand out drugs?
I don't know. I know he's giving out some stuff for
sleep,
for seasickness, sleeping, and I think for pain.
He's a doctor. He can
just do anything, right?
Yeah.
It's just whether or not what the pharmacy on the boat has, I guess.
Do they even have a pharmacy on the boat, or is it all in his room there?
So it'll just be like select meds in his
personal stock.
That's the other room. We know Doc's front room in his office, but there's that back room. That's all Doc's
We thought it was
drugs.
his bedroom, but this is his drug room. This is his drug den. Oh, man. So here we have Doc, Julie, and Gopher showing the promenade suite to Bill and Doreen, like the sitting room, champagne from the from the boat, actually, I guess, just from the captain. The luxury sleeping quarters we see here.
Does the captain actually pay for that out of his pocket, or is that just like something he goes to Isaac? Hey, make sure there's. And where is Isaac, by the way? He's not even here.
He gets in a little later.
But, we get he gets short shift shaft. He gets a shaft.
Doc
he gets
mentions
something.
It's the largest bed on the boat,
and Doc would know.
Yeah.
That's where you should do the zipper boing. You don't have to. I'm just saying.
Stubing then comes in, and he was going to be the one to welcome the Stockwoods, which is really Bill and Doreen,
right,
to the cabin promenade.
So the captain thinks the captain thinks it's this advertising guy,
the advertising mogul, Mr. Stockwood, Martin Stockwood, I think his name was.
But
he was in Fortune magazine about his brilliant advertising career, and Stubing invites him to dinner because there's another guy that's going to be there that's also in advertising, and thought that would be a cool party discussion at the table, I guess,
because people want to talk about their job while they're on vacation,
which is, by the way, is his great line. That's his great line. That's how he's not going to do it. He's like, I'm just going to say I don't talk shop, I'm on vacation. I was like, that was
easy.
It's perfect.
Except when they bring a client on there too, that makes it difficult. All right, we're back to Robert Hayes.
Here we get Robert Hayes and his wife looking at pictures, and he finds his masterpiece. Do you remember what his masterpiece was?
No.
It was a picture of his Aunt Lily and his dad doing the Charlton.
The Charlton or the Charleston?
Charleston. What did I say? Charlton? Yeah.
I think you meant the
Charlton Heston.
I think you meant the Carlton.
I meant the Charlton Heston.
I thought the Carlton from, you wouldn't know that. You've never seen
I'm not
that
sure.
show.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you don't.
During this scene, we get Bob Crane. He arrives with champagne also. On the house.
Captain?
And this is from the captain's personal stash.
Captain's just giving out champagne to everybody.
But he gives him and also brings caviar from the captain's stash. And Bob Crane here says, don't tell the captain. And he says, LSB. Do you know what LSB stands for?
LSB. No.
Right. Less said, the better.
Oh.
So basically, he's taking the champagne and caviar, I think, without the captain's knowledge. But that's what I get from that.
And I get that there's a reason why these guys are all together for the show, but why is Hogan just giving out free bottles of champagne and caviar to random people on the boat? Because he doesn't know.
I didn't understand that either. It seems like
I'm going to fast forward
friendly
27 minutes here, but like this is his daughter that we will find. Sorry, For those of you who are watching,
alert.
those of you that are watching at home with the podcast going in the background, this is going to be his daughter. So he doesn't know that now. He's just handing out champagne and caviar to people from the captain's personal stock. Now, do you think the captain and Doc sit around?
It's another shot of the captain
on off
Or the
hours
camera.
with their caviar and oxy stocks and just share back and forth?
I could see that. He's like, I'll give you another scoop of caviar.
And so now Bob Crane finds a picture of is it the Aunt Millie? And
No, this is actually her mom.
Oh, Aunt Millie was Robert
Yeah.
Hayes' aunt. This
Yeah.
is
his
wife's
his
what's his
wife's
wife's
mom.
name? Because I can't
Mary or Wendy Bradley.
Wendy, because I can't just keep calling her his wife. My
his
wife.
wife.
So Wendy has a picture there with her mom, and Bob Crane recognizes that as someone that he knows he has bedded in the past. And
That's his ex-wife that he
oh,
left.
is it ex-wife?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know it was that much
It's his
formality
ex-wife
to
that he
it.
left, and
that this is his daughter. He realizes right up
notices
the
that-
spot this
yeah.
is his daughter.
And he goes, "Oh no!
Oh my God.
Ow! Ow!"
So now we're back with the other couple, the other young couple. They're
picking out clothes to impersonate their advertising mogul career here.
Oh, I know why she may have only acted in one thing.
Oh, let's hear it.
She married Don Adams.
From Get Smart.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, really? Like currently she's married to him?
No,
Like,
no,
I
they got
mean,
the-
I know. I mean, like currently in 1978, she's married to him at this
I don't
point.
know
or-
if she's married to him at that point, but that's what she's best known for.
So she got all that Get Smart money and was like, I don't
Exactly.
have to work anymore.
They did a movie too, so she probably got executive producer on that too. She probably made some bank.
The executive producer on the Naked Gun movie. I mean, the
Get Smart movie.
Get Smart movie, the Nude Bomb. It was the name of the movie. That's why I said Naked Gun, but I meant the Nude Bomb. That was the Get Smart movie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Is it?
I think the Naked Gun.
Who was in that? I don't think I watched that. Was that Steve Carell?
The Nude Bomb? No, the Nude Bomb was the Get Smart movie with Don Adams.
I'm talking about the Get Smart movie that came out recently. There was one.
Oh, yes. Steve Carell and
Steve
Anne Hathaway was 99. Oh my God. But I never saw that movie, so I don't really know. But
yeah,
there was a Get Smart movie with Don Adams. It was called The Nude Bomb.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
And that was before The Naked Gun. I think The Naked Gun title was a mock of The Nude Bomb.
kind of makes sense.
There was a
yeah.
bomb that would blow up and blow people's
and,
clothes
it
off.
was-
And it sounds much sexier than it actually was. It was not a very sexy movie. I mean, Don
Yeah.
Adams was already like 70 years old.
That's interesting though that she was married to Don Adams. I like that. Nice find.
Yeah.
She's very attractive.
Well, I mean, good for Don Adams because he's not. So, and he was probably like already older by now, 50-ish maybe.
Well, what year?
Not to spoil things, he's in the next episode we're going to watch next week.
That better not be the
That was super
special
big spoiler.
thing,
What are you
man.
doing?
Oh, that was a spoiler?
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
but
good.
I didn't want to scare.
I didn't think it was.
it wasn't, but it's ruined. You're ruining it.
You ruin it.
It's ruined.
I like Don Adams. I always like Get Smart.
He's
was
got
a
that
show.
voice that you like. You know what
But
I mean?
Get Smart was a show that I watched, and of course, he was also Inspector Gadget, and he was also
That's why I loved him in too. Inspector Gadget was great.
the cartoon. He did the voice of was he Tennessee Tuxedo?
That's a good guess.
I think he was
I
Tennessee
think you may be
Tuxedo
right, yeah.
also. So yeah, I
Brian.
like Don Adams.
I quoted him yesterday.
What'd you say?
I said, missed it by that much.
That was a very famous Don Adams.
I was
quote.
going to do my Corrado Soprano, what he missed something by, but I won't do that.
Oh
right?
yes, I know what he missed
That's
it
such a
by.
good-
And they said that in the
He did it in the
movie,
line,
right?
and then
yeah.
every time he said that word, it was like, that's Dominic Chianese.
Yeah, he missed it by that long. That anyway.
So good.
Cut this out.
So
We don't need
good.
to talk about that.
All right, so here, all right, there was still picking out clothes. And
This guy looks like Gene
Andre
Wilder.
Zuckerman's dad.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder, that's
Yeah.
not bad. I
Yeah.
see that now, yeah.
Just now, all of a sudden, I looked at him. I was like, "Oh, Gene Wilder."
Would you
But
say
not
a
Gene
poor
Wilder.
man's Gene Wilder?
He's
or
actually
a rich man's Gene
He's
Wilder?
a better looking
Yeah.
version of Gene Wilder, but he's also probably younger than Gene Wilder was when I mean.
Yeah, Gene Wilder probably had to be in his 40s.
But I guess
Or
Gene
almost
Wilder back
40
in
then,
Blazing
right?
Saddle days and all those. I know what he looks like back then too. So this guy's a better looking Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'll give him
Gene.
that.
I know. It
R.I.P.
hurts.
Gene.
I know it hurts.
Here we get Stryker and Mary
Stryker.
Wendy Bradley at
Stryker.
dinner.
Striker.
And here's our first Isaac sighting.
Oh, there we go.
So how far in are we? 13 and a half minutes,
and Isaac shows up, and he's giving him advice because he came. Bob Crane came late to work, or he came?
No, Bob comes walking in and says, "Hey, Isaac, give me a drink."
Oh, he wants a double bourbon or triple bourbon, right? Yeah.
And he said,
and he's working.
And then he said, "Why?" And he said, "You're going to get fired." So Isaac was like looking out for him, and he tells Isaac that's his daughter sitting over there. And then Isaac's like, "Are you going to tell her?" And he said, there's no. He may have affection for her, but there's going to be no love coming from her. Is what he's saying. He said there's no picture of him on her mantle.
Well, he abandoned her, so why would she have a picture of him?
And then the one thing Isaac does offer that he should do, suggests that he should do, is drink, and he goes and pours him a drink.
Yes. Bad job on Isaac. Isaac should be like, dude, you're on duty, man. You're going to get fired, and you shouldn't be drinking.
Like, I thought that Isaac would get in just as much trouble there for that.
Yeah, and he leaves the bottle, too? No,
he just pours him a triple, and then
a triple. That's not a triple.
And as he's about to drink it, we got our buddy to come in, and
then the captain comes right behind as he's already drinking. Captain knows he's drinking on duty right now. He should fire him on the spot.
He did not pour it down his throat,
but he had it going up to his lips,
to his mouth, and then he makes a comment saying that he's doing it for the customer. He said it was too high, and he was walking down the thing. He didn't want to spill it.
Captain Stubing's no dummy. He should have been like, "You're fired right now," and he downs this drink.
He tells him to stop making excuses. It's his last warning, and then he slammed it. Yeah,
that's the kind of drink that after you drink it, you have to slam your hand on the bar a couple times to get it down. That is a 3-hand slammer.
I like the line right here. Gopher says, "What's happening?" And Bob Crane's like, "Too much."
Bob Crane was a very good comedic actor, kind of like a straight man kind of guy, but also had. When he was on Hogan's Heroes, he was like the Jerry Seinfeld, where all the nonsense around him was going on, and so he had to keep it together. But he was a great straight man comic.
Yeah. We catch Stubing talking to Robert Hayes and Wendy Bradley, and Stubing. Bob Crane pops his head out and waves to Wendy Bradley for some reason.
For no reason other than...
And the scene ends because I was like, oh, is there going to be something here? Stubing sees it, and then he walks away. So
now we're finally seeing Mr. Tate from Bewitched.
And then this is also the Loudons.
And Loudons are they're finding out that
the Stockwoods are on the boat as well. And he says, I know of them, but I've never met them. So a meeting isn't going to throw everybody off right away because nobody knows what anybody looks like.
Does anybody
people that are playing the Stockwoods don't even know these people.
Right.
So.
Which I guess that makes sense. But if he was featured in Forbes or something like that, or Fortune magazine, you would think that his picture would have been in there too. And if these guys read it, they'd know that he's not a
something like Fortune magazine,
25-year-old.
Any article you see Steve Jobs or something, and they always had a big picture of them. Yeah.
And let me tell you something, Mr. Tate here. People don't wear that light blue.
That's a nice look for him, though.
Jacket anymore. Good. I do like that. I wouldn't wear that. I would never be able to pull that off.
I couldn't pull it off either. But when you see it on somebody that can pull it off, like Mr. Tate,
I think you need to be a silver fox to wear that. It looks good with the gray hair and the gray beard and stuff like that. I'm not that gray.
So, you can see like a Steve Martin wearing that.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Yep, totally. I think it's a good look on him. Oh, that looks good on you. It looks good on him.
Here we get...
So Captain Stubing's having dinner with the entire advertising world and the clients.
And it's so weird because they're talking about...
business.
Basically... we find out that what's his name, Mr. Tate here, is he's a soap magnate basically, and he's got a $12 million soap account that the Loudons actually have and have screwed up.
Now, did they ever explain what kind of soap? Not that it matters, but is it like ivory hand soap? Is it dish detergent? It's just soap.
But when later in the scene when they spill something on somebody, she says it would get it out, so it seems like it could be laundry detergent of some sort. Yeah.
I'm glad you said laundry detergent because I was going to say closed soap after I said dish detergent. I couldn't remember what it was.
And then
closed soap?
After we just said you're learning things,
But I'm not. I am not. And listen, I have been known to do laundry from time to time. I should know what the thing's called, but I don't. I don't look at the label. I just say put the blue stuff in the thing.
All right, so we get the talk about the last campaign being a flop and how Bill and Doreen, who are playing the Stackwoods, did not want to do a talk shop. So that's how they get out of sitting at the table. and they walk away, and
that's the end of that.
That's the end of their scene right there. Yeah.
There's too many people involved in that storyline. There's 5
because the wife of the other guy being involved,
she's talking to,
she's hardcore in that.
And you go to those 2 alone at some point. So now you're dealing with 5 different voices, and there's 2 other storylines. There's too much going on in this episode. When we went through the credits, it took too long to get through all those names. There is too much happening in this episode. I need my Love Boat simple. I can't handle all this. I can't handle it.
And here we go, Stryker. Then we get Stryker and his wife are laying out on the on the deck by the pool, and he said he's going to go back and get a book, and she says not until you give me a kiss. And then we get Bob Crane's offering high-waisted iced teas.
High-waisted?
See his pants there? His pants are up to his...
okay. Well, isn't he wearing like the
yeah,
cummerbund?
But those are super high. Look at that.
But he's got the cummerbund, right? Cummerbund?
Cummerbund, yeah.
Cummerbund?
I have become
Benjamin Cumberbund?
Cumberbund numb?
What's the guy from... Who's
Benjamin
Strange?
Button.
Benjamin Cumberbund.
Benedict Cumberbund.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That thing. The thing around your waist when you wear a tuxedo. The girdle. The outside girdle.
So here we get... Did the captain interrupt her and Ted
Yeah.
So she's talking to the captain. So the captain...
Hogan left.
Yeah, so captain... She starts telling the captain about her dad, who was a sailor.
Because, when you have a tragedy in your family, right, sorry, I take it all back because he's a sailor. So she's commiserating with the seaman.
And she says that he went down.
Why.
Her dad went down with the ship, and that the name of the ship was the Caroline T. And that Steubing then says to her, I have the Berman's Encyclopedia of American Shipwrecks. So if she comes back to his room.
It's like the pilot of a plane saying, like, I got a book on plane crashes back in my room. You want to read it? Oh, man.
Didn't Kramer have a book on
plane crashes?
No,
boat crashes?
Boats sinking and the astonishing tales of the sea or something like that. Remember when George was trying to get the apartment?
Oh, the Andrew Eudorius?
Yeah, it was that episode. Kramer said he was writing a book. He was writing a book about
on sea accidents, boat crashes. Okay,
that wasn't the book that became the coffee table.
I would
book.
feel that there have been many boat sinkings in the world over the last however many. I mean, planes have only been around 100 years. Boats have been around thousands. Are you going all the way back to like Roman times?
I think you can. Why not? Right?
If
it floated, it floated. I mean,
Joy. That's it. Enough of that.
Good old Isaac.
To say nothing, they just flashed on Isaac for a second.
Like, hey man, get in this scene real quick.
And now this is which guy?
This is Kathy Bates' husband.
Okay. And these two guys both have like big fros and stuff like that. These guys look way too much alike. I am so confused with this episode.
And Isaac, for not being in this episode much, he knows who everybody's related to or who's dating who, because
Isaac always dispenses the wisdom.
As soon as this guy asks where his wife is, Isaac points her out right there, and he sees that she's sleeping, so he decides not to wake her up.
Yeah, well, she's tired.
I'm sorry. They've been trying to get together. His back's all better now. All of a sudden,
didn't he throw it on his back, and now he's walking around no problem? And he bends over like that.
How Doc fixed it? He fixed it with a karate chop and 2 aspirin, and that.
I think we're talking over it every time it happens because it's so ill-timed. Can you do that for us right now? Yeah, that's the Doc. That's the Doc's avatar.
So he tells Isaac when she wakes up that he's in the cabin waiting for her, and the champagne's going to be on ice. But I saw what's coming to her next. I knew it was happening. And I'll tell him. I think
I kind of forget. So now we're with the other advertising couple,
and they're watching the Stockwoods in the pool right there.
Yeah, they're joshing around in the pool. But again, there's too many characters. We don't
Julie
need
and Jock
these people
they're checking in on him, and then Julie's worried. Doc starts to blame her and Gopher.
And Tate as the asshole
client,
is good. He's just digging into this guy like, I guess I'm going to give him all my business. Like, if I was this guy, I'd be like, go to him.
Yeah,
I don't want
why am I even on this boat with you, man? This is like,
well, did they plan it, or are they all on here by mistake?
I think the Stockwoods were coming on there to
do exactly what these guys end up doing by accident. Okay,
yeah. But I just
thought
they
were taking the.
I think it's weird. Like, you're going to take a $12 million soap magnate on a boat.
As a
Mazatlan and Ensenada on a 7-day cruise. It just seems weird.
Wait, where are we going?
Ensenada they go to.
Can't they just go to Acapulco? I know that one.
So then someone spills tea on Luden's seersucker.
His seersucker, that's right.
Right here, you see the spilling of the tea. She grabs a towel.
She grabs a towel.
And it says, that's going to stain your seersucker. And she says, have you heard of this new stuff called Space Age Miracle Banish? That's the new product.
That's his product, yeah.
And that's their advertising company came up with that name. And she's like, why didn't you just call it Spot's Gone?
Spot's Gone. And he's like, that's brilliant.
I love it. And he says, can I use it? And he says, yeah. And then
I just like to go off track here.
Here we go.
Seersucker is what? Because I know it's a seersucker suit. Like, what is seersucker? What's that even mean?
I was going to look it up. I should have looked it up, but I didn't.
I've heard that reference for 50 years. I don't know what it means.
It's just a type of fabric. It has like little bumps in it.
But is it not? Okay. Is it not a popular fabric? Like, is it made? Is it like? Oh, you're wearing seersucker? That's horrible.
But it was probably popular back then.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's running around in seersucker now.
It's a silly sounding name, seersucker, but I mean, I don't know. It's when it's mentioned, I'm like, who's wearing this seersucker? What?
A printed cotton or synthetic fabric that has a surface consisting of puckered and flat sections, typically in a striped pattern.
Interesting. Okay. Seersucker. You learn something new every podcast.
Do you have a seersucker suit or no?
A jacket.
Really? Do you really? Do you really have a seersucker jacket?
Yes. You have to wear that, right?
I think you do. I think I want to see what I want to feel it. I want to feel it more than see it. I need to feel your seersucker. Of course you would have one. Of course you would have one.
Bumps on.
Yeah, I want pictures in front of the green screen with him in the seersucker.
I want to feel it. Is it like Braille? Am I going to feel you and be able to read you?
Kind of like Braille.
Brian, your arm says that you're rock hard right now.
It's a whole bunch of little bumps and then one big one.
You're too low. You're too low.
Now that would have been the perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh, wait a second. No.
And there you go.
I think we need to hire a just sound effects guy. Brian can't handle the duties of producing and sound effects.
I got to hit all these buttons.
If we had a sound effects guy and somebody looking up seersucker, throwing that up on the screen so we could read it instead of me squinting at my phone. Chucky.
I'm glad I went off track. I'm glad I went off the rails to talk about seersucker. That was well worth it. Oh, my Lord.
So here's what I was just talking about. This is what I saw was happening to Kathy Bates because she laid out in the sun. Guess what happened to her?
Right. I thought this was when they first went to the scene, I thought this was post-coitus. Yeah. But then you find out that she's sunburned and she was sleeping, and maybe her husband should have woken her up and said, "Hey, you're getting a little red."
Yep.
But no, now she's...
And now he's putting lotion on her.
Can you please lube me up, please? I am burning. And as a person that's been sunburned in the past, nothing is worse than that. I'm sure there's worse than that, but that's one of the worst.
Ever had, like,
kidney stones.
The top of your feet. I had the top.
Kidney stones worse than sunburn? Are they? Mm-hmm.
I've had the top of my feet sunburned before from like on the beach. That was horrible.
I did too.
Because you can't put shoes on.
I had a
top of your feet and the back of your knees.
Oh,
I'll tell a very quick. My grandfather passed many years ago, and my sister and I flew down for the funeral. And my dad was like, "I got to go take care of the arrangements, hanging by the pool." So I went by the pool, not thinking about it. Got totally sunburned. And had to be a pallbearer the next day. And I remember like every step with that coffin was like someone was jabbing my feet with a knife. Wow. It was terrible. I think
so. Then you had tears in your eyes. Like,
look at Andy. He's really broken up about this. I was like, my feet are killing me. I think by the time I got back to my grandmother's house, I just took my shoes off. I was like, can I please take my shoes off? Yeah, that was bad. That was my worst sunburn ever. So I can feel Kathy Bates's pain here. It doesn't make her, a child killer psychopath, but as we know, she will become years from now.
This next scene I find really weird because over the speaker you hear Doc Bricker saying, "Purser Smith, you left your shower running."
Really?
And then you see Gopher running down the steps, and Stubing's right there, and he hops over the step because he said hop to it.
Who said hop to it?
Doc. He says hop.
Your shower's on, you hop to it?
Yeah. So watch the scene right here.
Oh, it hasn't happened yet. It's happening now.
It's right here. Watch. It's real quick in the beginning. It is.
So it's like,
so you hear it now. It's going.
They're showing the speaker.
Yep.
So yeah. Wow. Whoa. He jumped from like 8 steps up.
And then we get a hammered Bobby Crane.
And now this is grounds for termination. Now he
summons him up to his cabin where he basically sounds like he's ready to fire him. He should done.
This shouldn't have to be something that's up in the cabin. This should be you're fired right now. Just I don't even want to see you anymore.
It's the 70s, though.
Stubing's probably going to see if he's got any more Quaaludes first.
Can't even get up the steps. He's so drunk. That's a good kind of drunk too. Whew. So now Stubing's giving him coffee.
Yeah, and he says, "What excuse are you going to have for me this time?" And
so now he's going to go into the fact that that's his daughter. Blah 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 blah. That's my daughter.
He talks about how he went to sea, he left a woman and a child. Basically, the story that we heard from Wendy,
but not
Bradley.
that he was on the
captain's not
Andrea Doria and stuff like that, and sunk and
he didn't mention that
right?
yet. He then mentions that the child that he abandoned on the ship is his. He says, and that's his Striker. Ted Stryker's wife is actually his daughter. Striker. He mentions he's Captain Anderson and Caroline T. And Stubing says would she rather have a real live father or a dead hero? And
I bet my kids would rather have a dead hero. My kids know me. I'm sure they'd rather have a dead hero that they could look up to instead of what I am.
Just at this time, we get.
I know Brian's family would all want a dead hero.
They're trying.
Kidney stones didn't work. We're going, what's the next one, right?
Oh, he's got the next one already.
Yeah. Cancer.
Yeah. So when he's dead from cancer,
the podcast is over.
Oh, my God. That'll suck.
I'll leave all this stuff in my world to you guys.
Brian, please get better, man.
We're gonna
I
need
forgot about
too.
that.
But where's button? This was to be plug this into
on his deathbed. We'll have him down here, like just point to the buttons, but don't get close to me with your cancer and chemo radiation. Gross, but please point out all the things I need to touch to make this work. We'll do our first posthumous
there's a knock on the door
in honor to him.
It's Wendy Bradley coming to read that book.
She wants the famous boat crash book. Famous Jewish sports legends. Oh, that'll be Airplane. That'll be coming up next. She wants the famous boat crashes.
Captain then tells her that both him and Teddy knew her father and sailed with her father. And Stubing then goes into how her father was a good-looking guy. He wasn't too tall, had a good sense of humor. People loved him. And that Wendy has his smile. He sees it in her, and that he was a fine sailor, good man, good in a crisis, dependable. But then Bob Crane's like, that's all I could take. And
so the captain has gone out on a limb here, lying to this woman.
As he was about to fire the guy, then didn't believe the guy, and now he's sticking up for him and basically setting out because Bob didn't want to tell her at this point. That's
if the captain had fired Julie and Gopher in that pilot episode for, I don't remember now exactly what the issue was, but there was because the girl was the cast stowaway. If he had fired them then instead of precedent as a hard ass, he wouldn't be letting Bob Crane off this easy. But now he's going to let him off because he's a softie. He's going to be like, I can't fire you, man. You're drunk and you're not really good at your job, but
But you could see how like even I know it's a show, he's acting, but you could just see how he's like a likable character. People would want to hang out with this guy or be around him, just like.
Which one, the captain or Bob Crane?
Actually, both. I mean, but Bob Crane, you really see it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I could be hanging out with him.
He's very charismatic,
Especially when he breaks out the tripod and said, if you want to film something kinky.
All right.
Be like, you got some girls coming over?
I was like,
I'll be like, no. Be like,
green screen Bob or no?
Did they have green screens back then? I think
I
Star
think they
Wars
were
was
blue.
on a
Weren't
blue
they
screen.
blue?
Yeah. And then they couldn't have blue 5. They had to change it to red 5 because blue
sorry.
5 wouldn't
It's
turn
that
on.
time.
What are you doing? Oh, mine and pie. Damn,
Yeah,
I
mine
think
and
I'm
my
behind
pie.
too.
It's just got my alert. Sorry, folks. Just mining for my future here.
Damn.
729 pie. Andy hit that milestone, 2,000, huh?
I'm at 2021.
2021, you get the most out of anybody we know, right?
2021, that's the year it currently is. That's how many pies I currently have.
Whoa.
When you listen to this in years and you'd be like, oh my God, he's a billionaire because of those pies he mined.
Yeah, you're
Or
like,
not.
that's that Andy
I'd be like,
guy.
I wonder if that asshole's still mining those worthless, stupid app pie things.
You know what? If you told me that it wasn't
Cryptocurrency.
going to be worth anything, I think I would still do it. Just when it popped up, it's like, keeps popping up. I'm like,
I have the people doing it under me that all they do is mock me every day for doing it. Yet every day they click the button. Click the button, monkey. Let's go. So what are we doing here? Sorry.
So
Cut
Bob,
that out. No one needs to hear us talking about our currency.
yeah, Bob then confessed that he is he's Wendy's father, and that he's not a captain. He was just a ship steward. He's never done any of the things. He's none of the things that the captain said he was. She just says she wishes she was still dead and leaves.
She wishes he was still dead.
She wishes that he stayed dead.
Stayed
She
dead.
said, yeah.
That she was dead. She didn't wish she was dead.
No, she wishes that he had stayed dead.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's what happens when these guys watch the episode 2 weeks ago. This is rough.
If everybody could just show up on the days they're supposed to show up and not be lame.
I know.
And, I mean, in more than one way lame.
My back was pretty lame.
That's what I'm saying. And Bob Crane is now distraught that she's walked out on him.
Yeah, he's
going,
he starts crying.
Hogan!
And then Richard Dawson says, survey says.
Richard Dawson played a Brit on that. Although I think he was British in real life, Richard
He
Dawson,
is British.
right?
He was British in real life,
Yeah.
yes.
So he didn't play a Brit. He is British.
Here we find out that Doc, once again, coming through with a cure for Kathy's sunburn.
And what was the cure?
She didn't say what the cure was, but Doc cured her sunburn, which is just...
That is actually amazing because in 2021, I don't think we have a cure for sunburn other than
No,
putting aloe or something like on your body.
And Julie comes over and talks to Kathy about
Do you think
her husband going into Mazatlan.
Is it possible that
Mazatlan for souvenirs?
Is it possible that Doc semen is the cure for
everything?
Well, at least sunburn. So that's why she's cured now because, that's why it's not readily available in stores to this day.
He just cured it around her mouth.
Right. He's like, I'm fine from the bottom of my chin to my eyes.
So Julie tells her it's a good thing she didn't go into Mazatlan because Mexico's not known for its Mexico's not known for its shade. I thought it was weird.
I thought you were going to say something like Mexico is not known for its Mexicans or something. Isn't that exactly what it's known for?
That's Mexico is not known for its shade. And
it's not known for that either, right?
That's what I was going to say. I didn't know it was like...
They're like, are you going down to Mexico? There's no shade down there, right? Isn't that why they have the big hats? The sombreros, right? Isn't that maybe that's
the urban
why.
sombrero?
Maybe that's why they're not known for their shade because everybody's wearing a sombrero. They're making their own shade.
We get Kathy's husband shows up here with some flowers, and he says there was a whole field of them. And guess what he decided to do? He decided to kick off his shoes and stretch out in the middle of the field and daydream about her.
As soon as he said, I found this field of flowers, and I was
happened,
like, this
right?
dick picked a bunch of poison ivy.
Yeah.
And this dick picked a bunch of poison ivy.
That's what they noticed right here on his arm. A big old patch of poison ivy. Upset stomach.
Diarrhea. So, yeah, now he's all covered with poison ivy welts? Whatever you get.
That big one on his arm is ridiculous.
So, did you say ridiculous?
Yeah, I think I did.
So, was that a balloon letting the air out? Or
a balloon deflating?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was...
So here we get everybody looking at Bill and Doreen, again, pretending to be the Stockwoods as they're dancing. And the Ludin's wife, she's berating him. And he says
he is just shaking his head,
she's
rolling his
berating
eyes.
him how bad of a salesman he is.
He's
and all
like,
this
I have
shit.
been keeping
But
you in
know,
seersucker this whole time, and you're going to mock me?
He says, I'm working on a new product called Mouth Be Gone, or it's called Mouth Gone. He just wanted her gone. He's just, I was like, that was a great line.
Is that a backhand to the face? Is that a mouth gone?
Gopher's
I mean,
worrying.
this guy is not a young man. He's been a salesman for years. They're well off enough to take a cruise and stuff like that. And she's just like, you're losing this. Oh, man. Oh, women.
Gopher was worrying about everything to Julie, and that's when she says if he sinks, they all sink. And that's when Gopher says, don't say that on a ship.
Oh, okay. That's the sinking joke.
That was the sinking joke, yeah. And
so these guys are all having their big, like, this is an odd kind of grouping, because if this guy's really trying to pitch his ideas to Mr. Tate here, should the other sales group be there to kind of like horn in on the ideas that
it's
this
also
other...
really weird, because then it's like he awards them the account, the stock. I'm going with the Stockwoods, and then all of a sudden the Loudons who lost the account are like, "What? Yeah, tell them what medium you're going to be releasing
They're
this."
like, I don't have to tell you anything. I remember thinking that at the time. I was like, it's all web based, dude. You don't even know what the web is.
The best part about that is when he said, what medium?" And then the guy Bill playing the Stockwood, he says, "That's all. I would recommend rare." And they all laughed. I thought it was like a little. The laugh track had fun with that one.
As these guys are all talking, Julie and Gopher are kind of like over them. They're in the upper deck.
They're trying
here.
to say, Gopher's trying to get Julie to cause a distraction. He's like, go dance, sing, take off your clothes. And she's like, I can't do that. He says, yeah, don't sing.
Is that really what happened? I don't remember that line. It's great.
I liked it.
Okay.
All right. So then Beatty's bombarding Bill with like questions like where just insider
this
information.
Is confidential information that only the Stockholm Syndrome clients know about.
Bill he confesses who he is here.
Does he really?
Yeah, he gets up here. He says, I work in a supermarket.
Yeah, he's a cashier, right? Is that what he says?
Yeah, he says he's just a glorified checker because they're calling him an imposter. He says, I'm just a glorified checker, and then his wife says that he's actually an assistant manager. So he's a little more than that, I guess. He said the suite they're in cost 6 months of his salary.
Wow.
So that's how much.
So I wonder how much this guy's making
suite.
Back in 1978. A cashier's probably making $5,000 a year, maybe something like that. I mean, it's
so then you're looking at
money.
You're looking at $2,500 for that 7-day cruise, and that promenade deck suite wasn't that great. I mean,
they didn't even have a balcony. I need a balcony at least.
They had a little window to look out.
The porthole window doesn't.
That
doesn't do it. I need the balcony.
Yeah.
I need to be able to stretch my legs and smoke a cigar on the balcony there,
right with the sea breeze. That's nice. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But this guy has now admitted that he is not who he said he was. He is an imposter.
Yep.
And now Stubing doesn't know this, so they're trying to get
him right out of it. Julian Gopher distract him and take him away, and then we get Doc again here.
So they're in Doc's office.
Gopher's
now.
worrying about everything to Doc. And Doc's talking about kill them first. Like that was his joke. Gopher says they got to tell the captain. And then this is where they come up with plan B. And Doc says, do I look like a plan B to you?
Interesting. I wonder if Doc's ever prescribed plan B for anybody on this cruise.
But then after that, Doc says you don't need an Adam Bricker. What you need is an F. Lee Bailey. We had an F. Lee Bailey reference here.
I believe F. Lee Bailey was one of OJ's lawyers.
Yep. And then here, Gopher then tries to take some pills that are right in front of Doc. Here.
Yeah, he's got these medicine bottles here, which are...
He takes them out of his hand, though, so he doesn't really let him keep them, it looks like. So, or at least not for our...
I wonder what they were. Does he say what they are?
He doesn't say what they were, but he asked if these would help with... I think he said, does this help with a headache or something like that? And he said he just grabbed them and took them out of his hand.
Do not mix them.
Doc's like, I'm setting this up. I was like, I'm putting this in somebody's drink later.
What do you think Doc is... he's doing a lot of paperwork here. What do you think he's doing?
I don't know, because there's nobody on the boat that he had to worry about. Like
they're signing like death certificates, like all the bodies that they have down in the
Bixby's
hull.
wife's knee in that episode. So here we find Kathy is going to go into Ensenada, and
it's pronounced empanada.
And her husband's going to stay in because he's got
he wants to kiss her with the he's got the what's the stuff he put on poison ivy? Calamine lotion all over his face, and he's trying to kiss her.
The champagne will be on ice when she comes back. And he's going to go see Doc again.
Do you think this is another one of these couples that have never been together before their wedding, so they're still trying?
They were seeming to make
remember
like
that
because
newlywed couple
they said
we
the
dealt
kiss
with?
was better after the wedding. He said, actually, he said this will be better after the wedding too. When he threw her on the bed, so maybe they had.
They've been around. Yeah. Okay, good.
Here we get
so now
Kathy
she's
Bates
been in
back on the
Empanada.
boat, and she's like, "Oh, we're moving already." So the ship's already sailing, and she knocks on her own door, I guess, because she had too many things in her hands, including that chair, which shows up at the end of the episode, which is really weird.
She's a chair?
There's that little chair around her arm, that red thing.
Oh,
so she opens up the promenade deck 342, and see, it's a little chair.
No, it is a little. It's a very little chair.
There's an older couple staying there, and she's wondering where her husband is, and they said, "Listen, this is our cabin here, and do you want us to get the captain?" She says they're going to get Captain Norton, and she's like, our captain, his name's Stubing, and then they said they're on the Sun Princess, and this is when she realizes she's on the wrong boat. She says,
"Wonk, wonk, wonk." This goes back to many conversations we've had about
Sun Princess.
It says Sun Princess about the terrible security and check-in ability that these boats have, where they just let anybody walk on a boat. You know, these people don't know where they're going.
These people, Andy, again.
The people on the cruise don't know where they're supposed to be going. So you would think they'd have people saying, "Hey, this is the Pacific Princess, this is the Sun Princess." Don't just let random people walk on boats.
And how many ships were there that were that looked exactly like?
Well, the princesses all probably look the same.
Oh, the princesses over here.
We're in Gopher's room again. We haven't been in Gopher's room in episodes. And he's got
I did make
Bogart.
A mark here, the Bogart poster. We do see that.
And he's got a poster of somebody right behind Adam's shoulder. I don't know. I was trying to see who that was. I don't know who that is. So
this is where Gopher got the phone call that Kathy Bates is on the wrong boat. And now he's talking about how is he going to tell Kathy Bates' husband that she's on the wrong ship. And Doc was making a porcupine joke there, and he says, how you gonna do it? And he says, very, just like you would with the porcupine, very carefully. That's the porcupine joke, I guess.
But Doc,
can you see who that is in the poster there? I can't make it out.
That's Bogey right there. He's got a Bogey like.
But there's a Bogart one over there.
He's got a movie poster, but then there's other like little 8x11.
We're gonna have to see if we can get like the print of what's in.
Yeah, he's got other little like photo pictures hanging on the wall too. I wonder if they're also Humphrey Bogart.
So Gopher chooses to make a phone call to Kathy Bates' husband here rather than go see him face to face, and he does the whole good news, bad news thing. Is that good news? We found her. Bad news is she got on the wrong shit.
Now, do you think does he know what room he's in? Like when he picks up that phone, does he have to dial P314, like Promenade 314, or like he just picked that phone up and went beep pop boop, and he got the guy right away?
Sound like David Spade there.
Does Gopher just have all the phone numbers to all the rooms memorized, or is it the room number is the phone number?
You know how I get annoyed with everybody knowing everybody. It's just like Julie knows every person on the cruise every single time.
Well, Julie only needs to know the people that are in the credits at the beginning. Usually, that's who she knows.
But I mean,
surprisingly, she always does.
It's just so Isaac shouldn't know everybody's name
or what they drink by the first night. It's a TV trope.
It is, and we see it a lot here. We get Bill and Doreen back talking to Gopher, Julie, and Doc, and they're all apologizing about getting caught pretty much. And
that is a nice room now. It's got a lot of space.
They definitely made it bigger.
I've discussed these rooms in the past, how some of these rooms look too big for a cruise ship, but if it's the Promenade Suite, it should look this big.
Yeah.
And they should have a balcony too. But I don't think any of these boats have balconies back then. That must not have been a thing back then. Too many people were jumping overboard.
Do you have to pay extra for?
Well, depending on everything, inside room, outside room, higher up, balcony, not balcony.
But when you guys go on your cruise, what's that, March?
But I think the balcony is only like $10 more.
Let me know if the cruise director knows your guy's name and all that
and I'm going to go up to the bartender the first night and be like, "Yo, Isaac, you know what I like?" And he'll be like, "Huh?"
I'm hoping you guys wear these shirts on the cruise. Because
and I'm going to wear the hat, too. I'm going to wear my little captain hat.
That's going to be awesome.
We should do a exciting new podcast from the boat.
I'll zoom in or however we have to do that.
I think we can, yeah.
Let's do that.
We'll be on my balcony smoking cigars and be like, "Jason, did you watch the episode this week?" And you're like, "Dude, my back." I'm like, "God damn it, man. We can't do it again next week, man."
And it'll be like this.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going on a cruise next month.
oh my God, that's right.
Mazatan.
Cozumel.
Had the Z right.
Mazel tov.
So they were all apologizing here, or and then Bill Beatty comes in right here.
Who? Ned Beatty?
Loudon and Beatty. That's the character from Bewitched.
Oh,
That's
Mr.
his
Tate.
name, yeah. They both like his style, and they give him a job offer as a trainee. He'll be a trainee for a short while, and he'll be working on Beatty's account, the soap account.
What exactly do they like about him? His ability to lie to people's faces?
I guess because of the way he pulled that off, and just how I guess because it came up with that spot skull, or she came up with that. So
Yeah,
are they hiring both of them?
The wife instead.
They should be hiring both of them, right? And here we get that. He's like, should he do it? And then he gives his wife a kiss, and he says, I think I could pull it off.
So now everybody's aware of the fact that these guys are imposters, except for Captain Steubing at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you have to keeping the captain in the dark? Because everybody else is aware.
Spoiler alert, the captain does find out.
I know he does, but it's been taking too long to give him that information. He's going to end up not trusting these guys. Every week there's another, they're holding back information. How can I trust you people? You people.
See, it's not. That's your new catchphrase. You have a new catchphrase.
If it's a bunch of people, it's
every week we have a stowaway or somebody not paying for a room that they didn't get.
Does he make them pay for the upcharge on being in the promenade?
I remember the girl because remember last week he had to pay for the girl, the stowaway. Remember?
Yes, the kid.
Yeah,
with the old man.
They made him pay for her,
And then grooming her anyway.
Here we get.
Oh, look at Stryker's back. He has been doing nothing this episode. They don't know
He does not have his camera with him too, which
they
is good.
do not know what kind of comic genius they have with Robert Hayes here.
Could have had a drinking problem and just missing his face.
That would have been great. And they would have been like, I don't get that joke. He's like, yeah, give it a couple of years. You'll all be quoting this in a couple of years.
So he wants her to talk to Bob Crane, and she just doesn't want to. And he says he spent all afternoon with him, basically saying he was like a nice guy. So he's obviously trying to get them together in the same room to.
It's much easier for the son-in-law to make nice with the father that's never been around than the actual daughter, because he probably was just like, who do you like, the Rams? Raiders? Whatever team was in L.A. at the time back then.
Bob Crane pops out and talks about how...
unless Brian was in the conversation, Brian would be like, what are you guys talking about? Is that an anime?
26 years of not caring is what she's talking about. That's her age in this episode. And
she looks a little old for 26 here. I would have said like 30 something.
I didn't look up her real age. I know I should have, because that was one of the things I like to do, but sorry about that.
Nah, it's fine.
They talk about how much of a bum he is, and he says he would have made her life miserable, and he doesn't expect a forgiveness from her or anything like that. And he's basically starts to walk away. They're crying, and she tells him, don't go.
And, she's really young if she's 26. So that means he's probably in his mid-50s here or something like that. Maybe not even that old. So
I think he died before 50.
I was going to say, they have years and years and years to make up for all this lost time, except for the fact that he'll be found dead in a motel in like 3 months.
Yeah, Bob Crane died. He was 49.
49, okay.
And he died.
He's 49 here then.
June 29th, 1978.
And this was January 7th. So they probably filmed this in mid-1977. So this was less than a year before he died. So he's 48 here.
Yeah.
A young 48. Oh, man, I'd love to be 48. Jason, how old are you today?
47.
47?
Yeah.
Today's Jason's birthday. He's 47.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our second birthday, because we had yours on the podcast.
I thought that was Chucky. I thought Chucky fell. I was reacting to
I saw your face. Like, your face felt like the world ended in front of you. Something went wrong. Something went really, really wrong there.
Man, I totally thought that was Chucky mid-stroking.
So she was
actually
like 31
okay, so
in this episode. She died in 2000. She was only 53.
Hey, that could happen to either one of us.
Cancer.
Or any of us.
Cancer is what
Brian's on the clock right now, man. He's 51 and he's got cancer, so we'll see what happens.
Are we? That's been announced to the podcast, then I guess, right?
Didn't you just say before?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. On this episode, we're announcing it, right?
Yeah, this year I've had COVID, Strep.
Well, you should clap for each one.
Oh, yeah. COVID. Strep throat. Kidney stones. And cancer.
You've beaten them all so far, so.
And how long have you been HIV positive?
He's not just positive. We can laugh about that now, right?
I think you have to wait. How many years?
26 years.
26 years.
Well, everybody currently on this podcast has had COVID, so that's we were all COVID survivors.
Congratulations, you guys. It's you guys that did it, man.
I hate COVID so much. I hate the discussion of COVID. Every time it comes up, it's like, are we still talking about this?
I hate you guys.
Are we still talking about COVID? Can we get on with our lives and stop talking about this?
I don't know if we can.
Apparently we can't, because it's on the news every day. That's all they keep talking about. It's as if like people are dying of it. Who cares? People die every day of everything. Everything.
No, you're right.
So who cares about COVID? If they're dying of that, if they're not dying of that, they're dying of something else. Please cut this all out, man.
And they're dying.
My COVID rant being on
and they're dying of laughter listening to the exciting and new podcast.
I'm going to put this all in the teaser trailer.
I bet more people will.
You could do like a full minute clip of Andy just so we can. I'll post that out on Instagram and everything too.
I think there's a better chance that more people will die from listening to this podcast than will die from COVID in like years. Not right
also,
now.
Congratulations. We hit our 100th download. I was proud of you guys, man. We did that, man.
Of course, Jason's on 17 different IP addresses. He just keeps hitting.
Look, I just downloaded on Apple, then I listened to it. So I do listen to it on Apple. Then I just downloaded on Spotify and Google, whatever. I guess does that give me the download? I don't know if that counts as.
So are those all separate downloads?
Yeah, those are all separate.
So we've released 5. Jason's downloaded it 3 different. So Jason's
15th time, but I am listening to it.
Yeah. Jason's 1/6 of all our downloads.
But hey, man, I think we're getting somewhere. We got our Instagram. We're up to like 20 some followers.
Are there any followers on there that you don't know by name?
There are. Yeah, we've had some people comment on things. Yeah. Wow. But we got some of your families on there now as well.
They're a bunch of idiots, man. We don't want those kinds of people.
Listen, they may know a lot of other people that they can get to.
Surprisingly, they don't. They don't know nobody.
They like hanging out with us.
Yeah, I've been to their house. They have parties, and it's just them. Don't you know anybody else? They don't know anybody else.
No.
But I mean, you've listened to this podcast. What do you think? It's pretty good. I think it's fun.
I don't want to say that I've laughed many times listening back to this podcast, but I've laughed many times listening. And I hate myself for laughing at the things that I say.
Yeah.
That is the lowest. I hate comedians that laugh at their own jokes on stage, but sometimes I've said some things. I mean, you've said a lot of things that I laugh at, but that's fine. But when I say something and I laugh, I almost feel bad about it.
I love when I'm listening to it and like,
I don't want to laugh at that.
When I hear and I was like, I know Andy's going to yell at Brian next. It's coming, and then it doesn't. And I was like, but then it comes later in the episode. I was like, there it is. So here we have Kathy Bates' husband talking to Julie, and here comes Kathy Bates running out with that chair. There's the chair again.
I don't think we had ever, and it makes less sense because she flew back from Mexico to L.A. and then drove to the boat to pick him up.
Yes, and got there.
And yet still had that chair on her arm.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't leave that in the car or something.
What's the purpose of the
chair? Did she take a cab maybe?
But she flew on a plane. Did she have the chair on her arm on the plane? There's a hole on the bottom of the boat. There's a chair on the arm on the boat of the lady.
That's a good one. That's a good one. If you have to cut that, you might have to cut that out.
No sense. It makes no sense for her to have that chair on her arm.
No, it didn't. I just thought it was funny.
It's very funny. I didn't pick up on that either time that she had it, either in the room or
Bill and Doreen, and then we get Beatty and the Loudons, and they're excited about Spot's gone. He loves it, and
does Steubing still not know yet? Does Steubing is he finding out right now for the first time that they're not who they say they are? Or does he know already?
Steubing comes out and says that you're not the
Spotswoods.
Yeah. Stockwoods. And Steubing basically fell for that gimmick the whole time. He just figured out, the only reason he figured it out was because the Stockwoods called and said sorry that they weren't there or whatever. To Steubing, like, why would they even do that? Yeah, it was just, that was.
Did Steubing say you'll be paying the upcharge on the promenade suite because that was not the room you booked? Because he's a stickler for these prices. Like
he
with
really
Charo, he's made her pay for the room that she was stowing away
But then they hired Charo too. So
and she was staying in Doc's room. She shouldn't have had to pay extra for that. She was staying with Doc.
Doc should have been paying extra for that.
I'm sure Doc is paying for it.
Then we get to see Bob Bob is walking down
that zipper sound is too muffled. It can't break through mine and Jason's booming voices.
I got to make it louder.
Yeah, it definitely is, because I didn't even hear it that time until you said something.
I see him touching the button and I'm listening for it, but I'm talking over it, so I don't hear it.
So we get Stryker leaves Bob and Wendy to talk. They're going to see each other in 2 weeks, and she calls him Dad, and he says, "Yeah, it sounds good."
Nice.
They like the way that sounds.
He'll be dead in 3 months.
It's so crazy that these got some weird sex parties going on right here because Ginger Ledoux shows up.
And was she involved in his sex parties?
How great would that have been if Ginger Ledoux was? I was like, but this lady, she's ready to go do some fun stuff. It looks like.
Who is she? Is she anybody? There you
That's
go.
it.
Much better.
I didn't see. She wasn't one of the names either. That was
so she's a nobody.
She was in the IMDb, but she wasn't one of the credits on. And I only do the credits that are on the screen unless it's somebody like Mary Treen. Kay from the Brady Bunch. Remember that episode? Alice she replaced Alice.
Yes.
But that's our episode this week. Now we're going to talk about our
too many people in this episode. Too many same-looking couples that confused me. But overall, this didn't have any of those really dumb love boat plots. I mean, the poison ivy and the sunburn was kind of dumb, but it didn't have any of the extremely dumb subplots that they usually have to have at least one of.
Yeah.
So I'd give this a thumbs up. This love boat gets a thumbs up.
Thumbs up for this. I enjoyed this episode. Like you said, it didn't have the big star power.
And it didn't have the star power, you're right. Except Kathy Bates, but she wasn't a star yet. Or Robert Hayes. Neither one of them are stars yet.
No.
And maybe the question could be whether Robert Hayes ever was a star. He was in Airplane, though.
And, yeah. He was about to break out as a nice comedic star.
I'm going to need to
Airplane.
Look him up later, because I know he was in something else that I saw that I can't remember he was in now. But
we're going to talk about next week's episode.
Next week's episode. Oh, yeah. As long as you guys can make it here, because that's not guaranteed. The fragility of the people on this podcast.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mention some of the cast like we normally do.
Well, I know Don Adams is on next week.
Yes,
excited about
spoiler
86
alert.
being on here. 86.
So Don
86.
Adams is going to be on there. Pearl Bailey is going to be on there.
And Pearl Bailey, I remember her being in commercials, but she was the one with the tag on her hat, right?
And that's pretty much it that I know of off the top of my head.
Minnie Pearl.
Oh, Minnie Pearl, right? That's Minnie Pearl. Who's Pearl Bailey?
Wasn't she a singer?
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I know the name.
She looks exactly like the shrink from Ted Lasso.
Oh, wow! I don't think I know her. I mean, I know the name, but I couldn't even tell you like what she's ever done. Pearl Bailey, huh?
Stuck in
the shrink on Ted Lasso. Sharon, I like her.
Okay, and so yeah, that's basically it for the cast that we know of. But there was something that I wanted to show. Yeah, I wanted to show Andy. There is one other special guest in this. Again, I don't know off the top of my head by looking at the names, but this cast member is also in this episode.
And her name is Louise.
Chimpanzee.
Is that Bonzo? There's a chimpanzee.
There's a chimpanzee in next week's episode.
I am super excited. So now, is this going to be our second animal episode? We had the dog that kept Radar O'Reilly in his room the entire time.
Yes, this is going to be our second animal, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm super excited about
I'm waiting for Ghost.
I mentioned that there are some episodes with ghosts, and I believe Jimmy Walker is one of the ghosts in an episode.
But he's not the same character he played on.
I don't think it's one of his same characters, but I believe he is.
Too bad we're beginning October now. We should be playing the Halloween episode this month. But I guess if Love Boat doesn't match up with...
Do you want me to look and see ahead if there's a Halloween episode we could do as a special one?
That would be good.
Well, but we'd have to record it and then release it.
That's what I mean.
Soon.
It'd be out of order.
We could write our own Halloween episode and then talk about it.
And film it on
how could our writing compare to the awesome writing of these Love Boat episodes? I don't think we could handle it.
So this has been the Exciting and New podcast. We could be found on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Exciting and New. If you look there, we have some little clips and just download, subscribe, download, give our podcast a rate. I can also be found at Jesus74 on Twitter.
Papa Bad Kitty on Twitter.
And what is it? AE Gonzo.
AE Gonzo 1.
AE Gonzo 1 on Twitter. Shoot us some questions if you're interested in any merchandise. We have T-shirts, and we'll see what else we can maybe come up with merch-wise.
And get your prostate checked.
Yeah.
Yes. Good night.
Your PSA level checked.
I got to get that checked.
We all do.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Later.
Missed you.